Ah, yes. You hear that sound? That is the delicious taste of non-alcoholic Athletic Brewing. If you're looking for a change or you're sober curious, check out Athletic Brewing. Go to willcoca.com/athletic brewing. Use code WILLC20 and get 20% off your next purchase. Welcome, everybody, to the Will Coca Podcast. This is another 5-Minute Friday. With Father's Day around the corner, I can't help to think of what it would be like if my father was still here with us. My father passed away in 2018 after a very short battle with cancer, and it rocked us as a family. It rocked me to my core. In some ways, I've never been the same. I spent years after spiraling into a funk that would take its toll on me, and I would end up in the hospital with no other choice but then to come face to face with the reality of the situation I was in. You see, I've had a lot of men in my life that have shaped me. Teachers, mentors, close friends. I've had a lot of father figures. But I have one dad. And when he was not in the picture anymore, I felt like I lost my map. I was in a wilderness with no direction at all. Grief is a beast. It's a friend who comes over to your house and never leaves. They don't announce their arrival or have any regard for anything that's convenient for you in your life. So this morning I asked myself, is it possible to feel grief, but also honor the legacy of the person you're grieving? My father was pure joy. The good stuff, you know that belly laugh that makes you hurt the next day? That was my dad. My dad could make a stranger feel like he was their best friend of years and years and years ago. He was so good at filling other people's cup with his joy, compassion, and positivity. He always had a mentality to serve the people around him. The way he would help our neighbors, our church, our community, the way he would lead our church youth groups was such a sight to see. Kids always loved him. He was so good with them. Almost like he could talk a special language that only the kids knew. The way he would make them laugh was spectacular. And watching my nieces, Anna and Ceci, grow up with him as a grandpa, it was like a constant party. His laughter filled the room. And that's why, when he was gone, it got real quiet. And what filled me was more of anger and sadness. My wife and I don't have children yet, but I thought that he would always be there for the day when we did. That made me angry. And I had so many questions to ask him about anything. That made me really sad. So a year ago, I decided, you know what, I need a change in my life. I spent 5 years struggling to find some footing and thought to myself, what advice would Dad give me now? I know he'd want me to follow my passion. Why? Because he lived it. He reinvented himself so many times in his life and never let age or time stop him. So I took a leap. And I found a community to return to a field of work I left years ago. I found a place where I feel like I can serve and be a light. I wish I could chat with him now over a cup of coffee. Tell him everything that's changed. Tell him everything that's about to change. You see, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of my father and the joy that he spread to everybody around him. I'm starting to realize that the best way I can feel close to him is to embody who he was. To embody what he was about. That's joy. When I choose that every day, I feel him around me. I honor his legacy by continuing to display his character to all the people I come in contact with. Seeing their reaction reminds me that he's still here. And in some ways, maybe he never left. So maybe that's part of grief too. Finding ways to embody the spirit of the person you miss so much. Happy Father's Day, Dad. We miss you immensely. Thanks for listening today, folks. That's been another 5-Minute Friday.